Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I'm not gonna lie, when I start doing General Hospital, that's when things are really gonna get confusing. So, going into this episode, I don't even know where to begin. So we'll just start off with Claire and Sierra. Sierra needs to learn how to lie better. And so Claire comes over to Sierra's place or whatever, and she's like, "Hey, I came here to see you." And they talk for a little bit, and Sierra sitting there saying that Claire, sitting there saying, "Hey, I didn't think you were gonna be here because we thought you were gonna go back to Hong Kong." And Claire's all like, "Well, I didn't want to go to Hong Kong because of you." And I'm like, "All right, so we're gonna start off with the whole creepy vibe thing going on, huh? Okay, that's fine." So they talk a little bit, and Claire's just didn't talk about how she wants to turn over a new leaf, and she wants to make amends and stuff like that. And Sierra's like, "Listen, what's in the past is in the past, and we're good now." I'm kind of just like, well, really? This woman tried to burn you alive, and you just gonna sit there and say to her, "Nah, y'all good." Okay. But for whatever reason, she was like, "Listen, the past is the past, whatever." And then Claire was like, "All right, cool. So, can I be your maid of honor?" She sees the paper, the invitation. She's like, "Can I be your maid of honor?" And, hold on. And Sierra just starts. She just starts stalling like there's no tomorrow. She's like, "Well, I don't know. What about your recovery? This, that, and the third, and it may be too much for you." And Claire's like, come on. I want to do this for you. I want to do this for you," and blah, 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 blah. So they go back and forth for a while. And after a while, Claire's like, "All right, so you just don't want me to be your maid of honor because you're still afraid of me." Now, I kind of laugh when she said, "You're still afraid of me," because I'm like, you're you're like 115 pounds light. Why is this woman afraid of you for? I don't understand that, but whatever. Um. Anyway, she calls Sierra out on the whole stalling thing. "Listen, if you don't want me to go, pretty much, whatever, fine," and blah 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 blah. And you just think I'm crazy. I'm always gonna be crazy. Then she starts trying to compare herself to Ben, talking about how you gave Ben a second chance, even though Ben killed a bunch of people, and we're family, this, that, and the third. So after this whole back and forth thing, um, Sierra's like, "Oh well, you know what? I'll think about it. I'll talk to Ben and we'll think about it and we'll discuss it." And so finally, Claire's like, "Yay, whatever," she gives her a hug. And then, do they have like a no drinking policy or something? Because they were drinking water, and I felt like Sierra needed something a lot stronger to deal with her nerves as far as dealing with Claire Bear. But anyway, Claire sees this flyer and she's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I know who that is. So that's pretty much where their scene ends off. Uh, let's talk about Will and Ben. So Will comes in the shop and he starts pretty much asking Ben the same questions, and he's like, "Well, listen, I think that like I understood what you said, but you know what, you were Jake, and I just want to make sure that your answers are still consistent, that he's not like you know telling you something to say different or anything like that." Um, and so Will's like, "No, you know what? Listen, the last time I seen her was when she tried to stab Jake with that needle." After a while, Will just kind of drops it. Ben asks Will to be his best man, and at first I didn't understand why, because I was like, is it just because you don't really know people that much? You don't really know a lot of people, and people still don't care you to tell pariah, but apparently they had some history. They were in jail together. They pretty much watched out for each other, so it actually makes sense that he would be his best man. So, yeah, he agrees to be his best man, and then he starts telling Ben about his baby plans, and telling him about his daughter and how she's worried and stuff. And then the guilt starts to wash over Ben's face, because Will is like, Will is pretty much like, Ben, children can tell when something's off and when something's wrong and when people aren't being honest with them, and we can tell that, she's getting sad, she wants to know where her mother's at, and the guilt just piles on. You can see it right in Ben's face. But, he kind of stays the course, and it's like, hey, listen, if I hear something, I'll let you know, and that's that. And they pretty much kind of ends off on a high note as far as, him still being the best man. So, that happened. Let's talk about Sarah and Brady for a minute, because Sarah, listen, I still think what Xander did was probably the most scumbaggish thing I've seen. And I mean scumbaggish, I don't mean stuff that Luke has done. And I'm not going to sit there and say what Luke Spencer has done with Laura, but we all know what it is, and the same thing with Todd. So it's not on that level, but I mean, dude, it was a scumbag thing to do. With that being said, Sarah isn't really looking that much better. So she's sitting there talking to Brady, and it's like, we need to actually have sex for real, and we need to do this for real, and I want my revenge, and he did something to me terrible, this, that, and the third. And Brady's like, yeah, I know, I get it. And for whatever reason, he still told Sarah that he's still down to destroy Titan. And the last time I checked, he wasn't on board with that, because he talked to Sierra, and he realized that if Titan goes down, employees lose their jobs, and that's not good for anyone else, and that's collateral damage. So the last time I checked, I thought that he was kind of on a no end. He was gonna not destroy Titan. So I don't know what the hell is going on with his plan. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm thinking it's kind of stupid. But anyway, Brady's like, yo, listen, I don't know. I mean, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? I mean, are you sure? And Sarah is pretty much like, well, this is the whole reason why you can't be together with Kristen is because of Brady, and you need to do this for Kristen, and you need to do this for your daughter. And I was like, whoa. Alright, see, I was like on board with a lot of that. I mean, I still think that you are just you are manipulating this guy into having sex with you. And I'm just like, wow, that's kind of a scumbag thing to do. Because we all know if the roles were reversed, everybody and their mother would be sitting there, like, calling for, like, his head, pretty much. And probably the actor, too. So I think what she's doing is actually kind of a scumbag thing. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, I don't think that she should take Xander back, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Maybe y'all kind of deserve each other. Maybe y'all are better off together than with anyone else, because y'all just kind of seem like y'all would just ruin anybody that y'all are with. And the fact that she was like, she used his daughter to manipulate him into having sex with her. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Brady is like, yep, you're right. Like he's getting pumped up, like he's about to go out on the football field or something. He's like, yeah, you're right. And they just conveniently start walking into a motel. Honestly, at this point, I don't know. That ends that scene, but I gotta be honest with you, man. Sarah is not really looking so good. I mean, she's hot, but like, as far as like her character goes, and don't get me wrong, I don't think that she deserved what Xander did. I don't think any woman deserves what Xander did. Not the baby switching part. Yeah, that's true, but the fact that he was gonna steal her embryos. Now let's switch over to Maggie and Xander. Quick little fun fact, which I didn't know, when they were talking, when Xander was not there trying to get Maggie on his side after Maggie learned the full truth, Xander was like, well, in my defense, Kristen blackmailed me into doing it. And Maggie pretty much had the same reaction that I had. Except for I was sitting there thinking, so because she blackmailed you into taking her embryo out of her body and putting it into you, so you pretty much so you try to save your own ass. This was I want to save my own ass, so I'm going to take her embryo. That doesn't make you look better. Hell, that almost actually makes you look worse, because if it really came down to it, if came down between you and her, or you being exposed to her in some sort of way, you would sell her and anybody else out in a heartbeat. You honestly think that this is the type of person that Sarah could actually love? And that was the thing. That was, their whole back and forth argument was that, like, Xander just... pretty much, Maggie was like, yo, listen, you need to just kind of just let her go. Or you need to do the one thing, the one thing that will give her back, like to make her feel whole again. They didn't say what it was, by the way. All the scene ended off with was Xander Smith saying, thank you, you're brilliant or whatever, and Maggie was like, listen, just because you may do it doesn't mean it may work. Yeah. Oh, let me pause it for a second. Oh, quick fact. Before I really end this, but Will told Ben that the police were looking for Gabby at that point. Because when Will was about to leave, Will was pretty much like, don't worry about it, whatever, I got, I talked to Abel, whatever, and even though they can't do a full investigation, he got some people looking into her disappearance. He got some cops looking into it on the down low. And Ben was like, oh, great. Yay. Like, shit. Pretty much. So, let's talk quickly about, anyway, yeah, so that's what Xander was saying. Xander was like, alright, hopefully this will work, and Maggie was like, I don't know. Let's talk about Lonnie and Eli. Because at first Lottie's like, yo, listen, everyone's better off if she's gone. Eli pretty much kind of reminds her, listen, she has a daughter, she has people that love her, she has Rafe. We can't do that to them just to settle some old score. And so finally, Lonnie was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. So they start talking about the possibilities of what could really happen to Gabby. They thinking that she didn't jump, so maybe she got taken. And he started talking about Ben and Jake, theorizing that, maybe Jake killed her, and Ben pretty much helped get rid of the body or whatever. So they got their eyes on Jake at this point. And then they also call Jake in. So before they called Jake in, Jake was posting flyers. Julia was being somewhat of a busybody, not gonna lie. Was all like, oh, well, do you have a permit to be posting flyers? I'm like, seriously? Like, 1 second. Anyway, Julia was like, do you need a permit to be posting flyers? And then, Jake turns around, Julia gets lightheaded, and then they start talking about, Stephanie DeMero, and then they start talking about Gabby, and man, I'm not gonna lie, Gabby's looking kind of a lot worse than I thought. I mean, I knew that she was like impulsive and like she's probably, done some shit like with Lonnie and Eli and stuff like that, but I'm like, alright, maybe that's just classic diva, whatever. I found out that this woman, I was actually gonna say the B word, this woman she has some sort of device that Julie was talking about. She has some sort of device because I guess she took Stephanie DeMero's heart and put it in Julia, but she needed a pacemaker, and somehow there was an app that could control her pacemaker to either lower down the beats or whatever, or pressure, or make her go into cardiac arrest. And this is all to get back, all for some sort of plan of breaking up Eli and Lonnie. I'm like, let me get this straight. You play life and death with this elderly woman so that way you can break up Eli and Lonnie's wedding. I'm assuming so that way you can have a shot at Eli. There isn't a woman that's hot enough on the planet that would ever make me go into those type of depths. And before I call her full-blown batshit crazy, please tell me that there is more to that than just the fact that she wanted him so bad that she decided to mess around with this woman's pacemaker to get them to break up. Like, please tell me there's more to that. I'm gonna have to look into that, but please write it down in the comment section, because I cannot believe that this woman, I can't believe that any person is just that batshit crazy. If you have a nervous breakdown, please tell me. Let me know in the comment section. But anyway, she told Jake, and Jake was like, wow, I knew she was, well, crazy, but I mean, this is beyond crazy. This is kind of a psychopath at that point. But yeah, so that happened. And she pretty much gives him the lowdown or whatever. And then that's when he gets the call from Lonnie. Smith is saying, well, hey, listen, you need to come down to the police station or we're gonna pick you up. I'm just like, you can't really, like, you can't actually question him without any actual hard evidence, I guess it was just more of a scare tactic because maybe he has some skeletons or whatever. But I'm like, yo, listen, if somebody called me up and be like, even if the cops call me up and say, hey, listen, come down here or otherwise we can pick you up, I'm like, you don't actually have any grounds. Then again, I don't know. I don't know the legality of that or whatever. Maybe they can actually pick him up. Who knows? But yeah, that's pretty much it for their scene. Let me just pause it for a second. I want to make sure I got everything right. Yeah, so that's pretty much about it. Again, it's just more Claire's that they're trying to ask Ciara for redemption, and she's just really trying to manipulate this whole, well, I was once crazy, but I'm not, and you trusted Ben, so you need to trust me. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. My whole thing with Sarah is just like, at one point Brady was really trying to like stall or whatever, and he was all like, oh, well, listen, people are gonna talk, and like they're gonna have opinions, and they're gonna judge. I was like, well, hold on, they're gonna have opinions and they're gonna judge? Like really? That's your tactic of backing her off, of they're gonna have opinions and they're gonna, okay. And even Sarah was like, do you not think I'm attractive? I'm like, seriously? I don't know. Like I said, I was just like, wow, Sarah, you are, I'm like, you couldn't just hook up with some sort of random guy, like, anybody? Like, you couldn't find one person that you could have just did it with and been like, alright, cool? Because he, you know, what the hell? Brady pretty much said that, like, I'm still in love with Kristen. So my question is, if you're still in love with Kristen, then why would you agree to? If you're still in love with Kristen, why would you agree to actually have sex with Sarah? I mean, from what I understand, Kristen can't actually come back. They're on the run. But I don't know. Like, does that mean, like, what's the etiquette for that? You know, is it they're on the run, so maybe I can actually, you know, maybe like I can actually date and stuff like that. I can be with other people. Because when he said that he still loves her, I'm like, well, people who still is in love with someone doesn't just sleep with someone else for an act of revenge. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no amount of convincing or manipulating that's gonna work if you're really in love with this woman. So, you know, you're a scumbag too. I mean, what's going on? Anyway, that's gonna do it for this recap of Days of Our Lives, and I'm not gonna joke. I'm not joking. I was seriously gonna sit there and say GH. But yeah, so that's gonna do it. Be safe, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the comments in the bottom. And like I said, please let me know that her plan was more like, did Gabby have a breakdown to actually do that to Julia with the whole pacemaker thing, just to get Eli and Lonnie to break up? Like, please tell me there's more to that than just that, because I gotta be honest with you, that is just, Jesus Christ. I thought fucking Nell was bad on General Hospital, but I mean, shit, at least she just kills people right up, you know? But anyway, be safe, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to my rant, even though the recap was over 18 minutes ago. Yeah. So, bye.